Hello everyone, my name is David, and today I'm sharing a supernatural experience with you all. So let's dive into today's story. Friends, today I'm going to tell you about an incident that will leave your eyes wide open for a moment, because it's something that would astonish anyone who hears it. Friends, imagine sleeping next to your wife at night, and when you wake up in the morning, you find a man lying next to her. You can imagine the rage you'd feel at that moment. Something similar happened to me as well, but what's even more surprising is how the man managed to enter the room despite the door being closed. When that man came again at night, what I did with him will also leave you astonished. But why did that man come into my bed at night? And what was the reason for his coming? I will tell you all those things in this story. So friends, this incident is from the time when I had just got married. Just a few days after the wedding, I thought of buying some land. However, I already had land, but it was not big enough. I live in Assam and went to see land near a village in Assam. And when I saw a piece of land, I liked it very much. But there was already a house built on that land. So I thought of demolishing it, and then after it was demolished, I built my preferred house there. And after a few months, when the house was ready, my wife and I moved in to live there. My wife liked that house very much, and she told me that you have built a very nice house. In fact, it was a love marriage for me. I had this house built to surprise my wife. On that day, while adjusting the belongings, it got quite late into the night, and thereafter, both of us were quite tired. After having dinner, we both went to sleep. It had been 10 to 15 days since we had been staying in that house. Then, one night, as we lay in bed chatting, we eventually fell asleep after some time. And when I woke up in the morning, what I saw next left me stunned, because I saw a man lying next to my wife, and upon seeing that man, I became furious. And then, I woke up my wife and asked her, "Hey, who is this guy lying next to you?" My wife also suddenly became alert upon seeing that man. "Who is this man?" At that moment, I immediately confronted the man and asked him, "Who are you, man? And what are you doing here?" As my gaze fell on his pants, I saw that they were wet. This made me even angrier. But when the man didn't respond to my questioning at all, I began to hit him in anger. He was trying to say something repeatedly, but my anger was so intense that I wasn't willing to listen to him. I was about to hit him. And then after that, I called the police. And then after a while, the police also arrived there. As soon as the police arrived, I told them everything. After which, the police also questioned him and took him to the police station. As that man left, I started comforting my wife because she was a bit scared. She was saying, "How did this man enter my room after all? The door was closed, so how did he manage to get in? And besides, the windows had iron grills, so how could he enter?" Now my wife and I were pondering over these questions, but somehow, that day we managed to forget about the incident. And then we went out for a stroll, and as night fell, we both returned home. And then, like every day, we had dinner and went to sleep. And the next day I woke up when my wife was waking me up, urging me to get up quickly. And when I groggily woke up and asked her why she was waking me up, then she gestured towards other side. What I saw made my eyes widen in shock. Actually, I saw that the man was lying on my bed again. Upon seeing that man, I angrily picked up the phone and thereafter called the police. I told them that their law enforcement is so poor that any criminal walks out of jail. As soon as I said that, the police asked which criminal I was talking about from yesterday. When I explained everything to them, they said that the man is right there. How could he be outside? We have kept him in jail. Upon the police's instruction, I told them to just go and check the jail. When those police officers went inside the jail and saw, even they were shocked how this could happen. Then one of the police officers said to detain that man, "They are coming right away." And saying this, they hung up the phone. Then I immediately confronted that man and said, "Hey brother, you're here again. How do you manage to come here?" And with that, I started hitting him again because obviously, if you see a stranger lying next to your wife, it's evident. So what's going to happen to you? And if your anger reaches its limit, okay, I also beat that man a lot in anger, and when the police came after that, the police caught that man and then asked him, "Hey, how did you get out of jail? Are you a magician? If you are a magician, then tell us. Otherwise, we'll let you go." As soon as the police said this, then he said, "You guys aren't giving me a chance to speak at all. Whenever I try to speak, you start hitting me." Now, what that man said was absolutely correct. Whenever he wanted to speak, we would start assaulting him. Then this time, when we asked that man, "Well, how do you come here?" Then that man explained, "I have come here for a very important task. I have to leave from here quickly after finishing my work, because if I stay here for a few more days, she will kill me." The man's words didn't make any sense to me as to what he wanted to say. When we asked him who he was, finally trying to figure out what he meant, he explained that he had come here for a job long ago, but he didn't have a place to stay. That's why he was sitting near the bus stand that day, as he had to go for an interview at his company the next day. As he sat at the bus stand, an old woman approached him and asked why he was sitting alone, to which he explained that he couldn't find a place to stay for the night, so he came and sat at this bus stand. As soon as I told the woman about spending the night, she offered me a place to stay for the night if I wanted to go there. After listening to that old woman, I really liked what she said. Let's go, I thought. Finally someone who can make my night enjoyable. After listening to the old woman, I said to her, "Do you have any trouble?" To which she replied, "It's my own home. I won't have any trouble. You come along just saying that much." She started walking ahead, and I followed behind her. After a while, I reached the old woman's house, and I saw that her house was very big. When I went inside with her, I saw that there were many curtains hanging inside the house. Looking at those curtains, I couldn't understand anything because the curtains were hanging everywhere. I had never seen so many curtains inside any house before. Actually, it wasn't a house, but more like a mansion. It was a very luxurious house from the inside. I was just looking at that house when, at that moment, the old woman said to me, "Come, let me show you your room." Saying this, I followed her to the upstairs room. When I arrived at that house with that woman, I saw that there were curtains hanging in that room as well. Now, seeing those curtains, I had the question in my mind about what was behind those curtains. Seeing those curtains, I thought of asking that old woman why the last curtains were hanging. Just as I was about to ask her, before that, she told me not to remove these curtains no matter what happens. "You can stay in this room all night, just don't touch these curtains." Hearing her, when I asked her why exactly what is behind these curtains, she said that you don't need to know all this. At that time, I didn't feel quite right about that old woman's words. I don't know. At that time, I started to feel some restlessness inside that room. Because of the curtains hanging in that room, I started to feel suffocated. Just as I was looking at those curtains in that room, that old woman suddenly said to me to leave from here in the morning. Then I also nodded in agreement to her words, and after that, she left the room. Once she left, I freshened up in the bathroom and then lay down on the bed. Because I was starting to feel sleepy at that time, I fell asleep. But when I started to feel a strange discomfort in my knee in the middle of the night, I woke up partially. As I woke up, my eyes went to the curtains in the room. I was getting angry looking at those curtains because they were causing me quite a discomfort. At that time, I thought of removing these curtains immediately, and in the morning, I would put them back up. With this thought in mind, I got up from the bed and removed one curtain from the window. When I saw what was behind the curtain, my eyes widened in shock, because there was a picture of a girl behind the curtain. The picture was in a nude state. The picture was such that anyone looking at it would get aroused. Looking at that picture, I started to feel excitement building up inside me. I was so mesmerized by her picture that I couldn't even tell you. But when I removed more curtains, I saw another picture of the same girl there. Her picture was such that it further aroused my excitement. However, I managed to keep myself composed somehow. But in the midst of it, when I removed all the curtains, I saw that behind all of them was a picture of the same girl, and each picture was in a nude state. It felt very strange to see such pictures. I also had many thoughts upon seeing that picture. But at that moment, I thought I should quietly go to sleep. So I started putting the curtains back on those pictures again so that the old lady wouldn't scream at me. As I kept covering all those pictures, suddenly I looked closely at that picture. It felt like the girl was looking at me. At that moment, I saw her eyes blinking in the picture. I got nervous for a moment. But then when I didn't see any movement in the picture again, I put the curtain back on it. When I pulled back all those curtains, I lay down on the bed, and then I don't even remember when I fell asleep. My eyes opened only when it was morning. I rubbed my eyes, and then when I went to the bathroom to freshen up, I saw that my pants were wet. I had never seen my pants so wet before. It felt very strange to see the condition of my pants. At that time, I was feeling some pain in my body, but I couldn't understand why. Ignoring it, I changed my pants and then left the room, but I couldn't see that old lady anywhere. So I left the house and went straight to the office. I passed the interview and then arranged for my stay. After working all day, when I lay down to sleep at night, I immediately fell asleep. And when morning came, I woke up. Then, when I got up and looked around, I was shocked for a moment, because I was in that old woman's house, and also my pants were dirty. I was very scared at that moment. I couldn't understand how I ended up here. I immediately ran from that old woman's house in fear and went straight to my room. As soon as I reached my room, I quickly changed my clothes and then headed straight to the office. Upon reaching the office, I sat in my cabin. But as soon as I sat in the cabin, I started feeling unwell, because my anxiety was increasing even more. That day, I also got a fever due to the office AC, so I took leave from the office and then went home. As soon as I got home, I lay down straight, and when I woke up in the evening, I felt better, but my body was still in a lot of pain. Because of this, when night fell, I fell asleep again. Then, when I woke up in the morning, I found myself at the house of that old woman again, and my pants were also as dirty as before. This went on for many days, and then, after a few days, I went to a Baba. After that, he told me that the house where you stayed overnight, there is a girl's soul inside that house, and the old woman who took you to that house is also a soul. She used to let travelers stay in her house before she died. When she refused to lift those curtains for you, why did you remove them? Hearing all these things from that man, I was astonished how he knew all this. Baba told me that that girl have taken a liking to you. Now she will never leave you alone. Whenever you sleep in your house, you will found in her house in the morning. When I pleaded with Baba to somehow get rid of that girl for me, because my condition has deteriorated a lot and I'm getting weaker. If this continues, I will die soon. I had just said this much to Baba. Then he told me that if you want to save your life, you will have to leave this city. Because wherever you sleep in any corner of this city, you will find yourself in that house. That's your only way out. But remember, whenever you come to this city, you will found in that girl house again. Now, hearing these words from that man, my condition started to worsen. I will never come to this city again. And after that day, I left this city. But my work was so important. Due to the reason I had to come here, I need to leave this city soon after finishing my work, but you've built this house by breaking it down. Yet, it's still not letting me go. Friends, listening to that man's words, both my wife and I were shocked, and hearing him made us break into a sweat. We both started feeling scared in this house now. The condition of the police officers also started deteriorating significantly. But when they called his office and inquired about him, the office workers informed them about that man. After that, even the police officers trusted that man's words, and then they let him go. But friends, along with this, I also left that house forever because I was afraid that something like that might happen to me too. So friends, that's all in this story. How did you like the story? Please let me know in the comment box. Thank you.